After selling everything that we own and deciding to go travel the world full time, I was craving adventure. Heading to Jordan was certainly an adventure for us. Petra and Wadi Rum in Jordan should be on everyone's bucket list. This is our story on our travels to Jordan. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more great stories on travel. Come follow our journey. We arrived in Aqaba, Jordan by ferry from Egypt. The ferry was an interesting adventure in itself. Not many tourists take this ferry. Many are Egyptians heading back to Aqaba for work and to visit their families. There was actually only 3 or 4 other foreigners on the ferry. The ferry departs from Nuweiba, Egypt at noon and arrives in Aqaba, Jordan at 3 p.m.
Other side. Down low. Too slow.
Okay, hold on. When buying ferry tickets, we purchased ours online with bookaway.com. The cost was $213 Canadian, and that was for the 2 of us. I think as North Americans, we thought having a confirmation and a QR code was enough. Just a good tip to know, this is not enough. Remember to print everything off and also arrive early. It was really confusing because the agent that was collecting the tickets has no scanner, and he grunted tickets, signaling to us that we had to have a physical ticket. And then he was pointing over there. Randy had to look everywhere for the ticket office, and luckily he was able to pick up our physical tickets and be back on time. We then proceeded through the ferry terminal to immigration for leaving and exiting Egypt. We then headed through security. In security, they thought my tripod selfie stick was a telescope. So keep some of your camera equipment at the top of your backpack, and then you won't have to dig to the bottom like I did. My last tip when taking the ferry is for women to dress in a conservative manner. A long skirt or pants or a long sleeve blouse will be fine. Also, try to make sure you go to the bathroom before boarding, as the bathrooms on this ship are not ideal. Once arriving in Aqaba, we were segregated and ushered off the boat by security, and then directed over to immigration. Immigration was a breeze, in and out so easily. Then we hired a taxi to take us to Wadi Rum. Make sure you negotiate your price before leaving and stick with the price. The taxi driver that we had, he was a little crazy. He was driving too fast at times, he was smoking, so we said slow down. And then he started wanting more money. And in situations like this, it is so important to remain calm yet firm. We arrived safely, and then he had the nerve to start yelling at us and wanting tip. We said no way. He was that terrible. Our camp host, Desert Hearts Camp, was there to pick us up promptly. We told him what had happened, and he walked over and scolded the cab driver, because actions like this is bad for business and tourism in Jordan. So, Wadi Rum is a protected desert wilderness in southern Jordan. It is UNESCO listed for both the natural beauty and the cultural significance. The desert is divided into 2 areas called the White Desert in the southeast and the Red Desert in the northwest. Wadi Rum, it was once described by Lawrence of Arabia as vast and echoing. I think the 720 square kilometers of this majestic desert, it felt so exotic, and the grandeur, it was just leaving me speechless. We arrived at sunset and had planned to stay in Wadi Rum Desert for 2 nights. At first, I was thinking, is it enough time? Well, the timing was actually perfect. The cost of our accommodations and our adventure tour and the park fees all in at Wadi Rum was $380 for the 2 of us. So we hopped into the back of this Toyota truck and it had nice little cushions in it, and then we were off. The Toyota truck, it just roared through the desert, further and further away from any town. It was like, you know what? It was like nothing else that I had ever experienced. You know, it's a no wonder so many famous movies like Star Wars, Lawrence of Arabia originated in this unique location. We drove for about 30 to 45 minutes into basically nowhere. We arrived at our truly authentic Bedouin tribe camp called Desert Hearts. We were shown to our tent and then had a welcoming tea. The tents, they're actually made out of goat hair, and there are many scattered throughout the desert. Here we are in Wadi Rum, and this is our first night. That's our camp over there, and we're gonna have dinner around 8 o'clock and a nice fire. And this is sunset here, and I think the silence here is just unbelievable until a plane goes by.
Hello everyone.
Hi Randy.
Am I the luckiest man in the world or what? Look at this beautiful location.
Yeah.
And the beautiful woman that I get to spend it with. Doesn't get much better than that, folks.
Yeah. We're about to have tea again. Randy's got to take off his shoes. We have to take off our shoes. And we're going to eat dinner outside. So this is our little special place. I'm not sure what these things are. Oh, there are chairs. Yeah. Then dinner was all homemade by the family, and I have to say it was delicious. After dinner, we laid on these Bedouin rugs, sipping tea underneath the dark, dark sky. The stars, oh my goodness, the stars were like sparkling confetti. It was absolutely spectacular. We then headed to bed. Our tent was super comfortable. We had a queen bed and it just felt very cozy. There are no bathrooms in your tent. The bathrooms are about 100 steps away from where all the tents are. There are showers, toilets, and sinks. The facilities are super clean, but very basic. We slept so well, and then we woke up the next morning for the day I think we had been waiting for a lifetime. So it was rise and shine in the morning. We had an early morning breakfast, and then we jumped back into the trucks to head out for our tour. Some of the trucks, they have canopies. Ours did not. I have to say, roaring through the desert is one of the most exciting, thrilling things you'll ever experience. We went to all the famous places like Little Rock, Mushroom Rock, the Red Sand Dune.
Come on, pick up the pace there, girl.
We stopped for a 2-hour lunch, and I actually helped with the cooking.
Beautiful fire going.
It's actually the only cooking I think I've done so far this year.
Whenever you're ready, baby. All right. Good job, baby. Hey?
Who's next? After a full day of touring of all the sites, I have to say it starts looking the same. So I am so glad that we had only booked one full day. We ended the day having tea and watching the sun go down. How perfect is that? Then the big treat for us was dinner that was being cooked in the traditional Bedouin way. This slow cooking method is done in a special oven called a zarb oven. This is where they dig a big hole and place a metal barrel inside it. It's an earth oven. It is coal operated and it slow cooks various meats and vegetables, giving it a real, kind of unique smoky taste. Tenting in Wadi Rum with our Bedouin family was an enchanting experience. A big thank you goes out to Desert Heart Camp. You filled our hearts.
Wow, did Wadi Rum ever live up to its expectations? Next stop, Petra. It's about 3 hours down the road. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Petra. After our adventure to Wadi Rum, we took a bus to Petra. It's a small bus and the cost was $40 Canadian, and that was for the two of us. It's very straightforward. We were picked up at a bus stop and the bus was filled with other tourists and we were all heading to Petra. The bus dropped us off at the top of the hill in town. We took a very short taxi ride to our hotel called La Maison. So far through all of our travels, this has been the most expensive hotel at $115 Canadian a night. We chose this hotel because of the close proximity to the entrance of Petra. We arrived in the mid-afternoon, so we decided to find out exactly where you find the tickets, where they are sold, what time we should arrive, and where the gates are for entrance. So that way we were really prepared. Petra is one of the 7 wonders of the world, dating back 2,300 years. It has been lived in since prehistoric times. This Nabatean caravan city was once the crossroads between Arabia, Egypt, and Syria. What makes Petra so incredible is the half-built and half-carved into the red sandstone rock, and it is surrounded by mountains riddled with passages and gorges. When you peek into some of the caves, many of the Bedouins that still work in the tourist industry, they keep their little donkeys and mules in the caves for shelter. Oh my God, this is so worth it.
Beautiful weather. Well, we're in the SIG, I think you call it. Anyway, it's the entrance to the treasury. Very impressed so far. We're not the first people in here, but we're darn close. Jill's a slave driver. I can't get a sleep in past about 4 in the morning. She got me going steady, 16, 18 hours a day. Having fun, honey?
Yes. And this, oh my gosh, this is the moment of the treasury. Holy smokes.
Hey, Jill. How you doing? Jill's heading off to her new home. I promised her a palace. She didn't want anything in Egypt, and this one will do, Jill?
I think so.
Huh?
I think so.
I can just see her sipping martinis on the front deck. Lots of company every morning.
Yes.
What do you think, Jill?
I think it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the theater, the new venue of the Seattle Seahawks. We're gonna do an international game here this year. You got your ticket yet?
Good morning. Shalom alaikum.
So we're off to the monastery. It's a 1,000 meter elevation, so wear your running shoes. That is a must.
Self-walking donkey. And there he goes.
Christ almighty, he's going to have easily a couple 100 pounds.
After climbing and climbing, we finally reached the monastery. Oh, it's absolutely breathtaking. So today we arrived at 5:45 a.m. to buy our tickets, and we were through the gates at 6 a.m. I can't stress to you how important it is for you to arrive early like we did. We basically have had the place to ourselves, and what a phenomenal experience. So Randy and I are both really fit, and we were able to do Petra in one day. That's not for everyone. If it's not for you, then I would recommend 2 days. But in the one day, we did visit the Corinthian tomb, the palace tomb, silk tomb, colonnaded street facades, and even the high place of sacrifice, which is the highest point in Petra. We ended up seeing everything, and we finished around 4 p.m. And we did almost 32,000 steps, or 23 kilometers. Oh my God, what a day. I felt like I had walked 500 miles. Petra is truly one of the 7 wonders of the world, and so worth the visit. Its grandeur and magnificent architecture and history is absolutely mind-blowing. We left Petra feeling like we had experienced something really incredibly special, and it will leave an imprint on our memories forever.
Well, here we are at the monastery. We got up early this morning and we hiked all the way uphill right down to the bottom of the valley where the treasury is in the main city of Petra. And so the tough part's behind us, and we were the first people up, so it was great.
Jill has already referenced it, but please, people, do yourself a favor and show up early to Petra. We spent the first couple of hours walking the main road through Petra, for the most part, totally alone. Arriving at the monastery, we were the first people there. It was really special. After 20 or 30 minutes, we turned around to loop back to the entrance via the steep trail to the high place of sacrifice. Coming back down to the treasury, where we had been 9 or 10 hours earlier, was absolutely unbelievable. It was worse than Disneyland. There were literally thousands of people there, shoulder to shoulder. We were so glad that we got an early start.